Okay, now I'm going to do 3 of these, and you're going to do a problem in the back on your own, this back one right here. So what we have is a word problem that's about a shape. The shape's right here for you too, to fill in the information on the shape. So it says you're designing a frame to surround a rectangular picture. The width of the frame around the picture is the same on every side. The picture is 22 by 20 inches. Now I know that sounds really confusing, but if you do your picture, it does help. So these dimensions here, that's in the middle. So you want the first number 22, you want to put 22, and then 20 right here. 22 and 20. So what I want to do now is measure the dimensions of the whole thing. So this is my length here on the bottom. And I basically draw a line from start to finish. And then I mark the points where the 22 stops and starts. Okay. Now from here to here I look straight up and I know that that's 22 units long. And then the outsides are X, and that's going to be that way all the time. And then the side, I measure from start to finish. Then I mark the middle centerpiece from start to finish. So here and here. You want to do that. And from here to here, I look across, and it's 20. And then the edges are X. Okay, so that's what you do first. Now part A, write a polynomial that represents the total area of the picture in the frame. So with an area, we want 2 parentheses with a multiplication operator in the middle. So with my length on the bottom, how many X's are on this line? There's 2, okay? So we're going to put 2X plus the 22. So X, that makes 2 X's and then 22. So 2X plus 22. Now the width, again, you got 2 X's. So it's going to be 2X plus 20. Okay, now I can ignore the shape and just focus on finding the product that this equals. Okay, so I need to start drawing my rainbows. So I have this 2X first, so I go 2X to 2X and 2X to 20. So I write 2X, 2X, because there's 2 rainbows coming from it. And we're going to multiply this by 2X and by 20. And that takes care of my 2X. Now I repeat the process with the 22, okay? So I put 22, 22. We're going to multiply that by 2X, and we're going to multiply that by 20. Okay, now all my X's I want to have powers, okay? So here's an X to the 1, here's an X to the 1, there's an X to the 1, and there's nothing on the 20. 22, nothing, 1 to the X on the 2, and then nothing at all. Okay, then I figure out these products individually. So 2 times 2 is 4. And then on X, you got 1 plus 1. That's 2. And then 2 times 20 is 40. And then on X, you just got the 1. Okay, 22 times 2 is 44. And for X, you just have the first power. And then 22 times 20, you're going to want to do some of these with a calculator, obviously, is 440. The nice thing about this is you don't have to worry about any negatives, okay? Now we have some identical powers in the middle here with these X's. So I go blank X to the second plus blank X plus blank. Okay, so I have 4X to the second, and then I add the X's. 40 plus 44 is 84. And then we have our 440. And then part A is complete. Okay. Now part B, it says find the combined area of the picture and the frame if the width of the frame is 4 inches. So these X's that I have here, now those become 4. Okay. And it's really easy. We're going to use our answer for part A. So I'm going to parenthesize my X variables, both of them. Then down here, I'm going to just make the parentheses empty. So I have 4 parentheses, then to the second power, plus 84 parentheses, and then plus 440. Okay, now in those parentheses, instead of having x, we're going to put the number 4 in. Okay, and I can plug all that into my calculator. Okay, so I have 4 first, and then I have a parentheses. The parentheses keys are right here, so or above the 8 and 9. So parentheses 4, and then you close it. Now that needs to go to the second power. So to the second power, you can hit this key here, the x to the second, and then the second comes up. Plus 84, and then parentheses 4. You don't need the power on that one, though. And then plus 440. So it's 840. That's your area. Okay, my next problem. A rectangular trivet has a ceramic center and a wooden border. The center is 8 inches by 6 inches. Okay, so I've got 8. I want to put those numbers 8 and 6. Now I'm going to measure across the whole start to stop. Then we need to put markers, kind of up and down markers, where the centerpiece would stop and start and stop. And from here to here, I look straight up. That's 8, and then the edges are X. Okay, and then here, from start to finish, and then mark where your center starts and stops. And then the edges are X, both of them. And then we know from here to here, just look straight across, and it's 6. Okay, so that tells me everything I need to know about what I'm going to write down. Okay, so it's 2 parentheses. Okay, and this is the length, this is the width. So how many x's do I have across here? There's 2 of them, so it's 2x plus the 8 in the middle. Then here we have 2 x's plus the 6 in the middle. So let's start with multiplication. We start drawing our rainbows. Okay, so first I have the 2x, so 2x, 2x, and 2x to 6. So this 2x I write down twice because it's being distributed to the other 2x, and then the positive 6. Okay, and then I'm not done because I have the 8 that needs to be distributed. Okay, so I have 8 times, and we're going to times it to the 2x and the 6 just like I did up here. Okay, so make sure your x's have power. So 1, 1, 1 and nothing, nothing and 1, and then nothing at all. So 2 times 2 is 4, and then on x we add 1 plus 1, and that's 2. 4x is second. 2 times 6 is 12x, and that'd just be to the 1. 8 times 2 is 16, and that's x to the 1. Then 8 times 6 is 48. Nothing, I don't even have an x on that. So I have identical powers of x here. So I go blank x to the second, because that is the highest, plus blank x plus blank. Okay, so x second we have 4. Then for x we add the 12 to the 16, which is 28. And then we have 48. Okay, now you want to put your x's in parentheses, both of them. Oh, that's my answer for part A. Okay, as soon as I get that. Okay, so now it says the width of the border is 2 inches, so those x's now turn into 2's. Okay, so you write 4 down, empty your parentheses, and then we put the second power. The next thing I have is a plus, the next thing I have is 28, the next thing I have a parentheses, empty it though, plus 48. And where we used to have x, now we're going to have the number 2. Okay, and we're just going to plug that in our calculator. So I've got 4 parentheses 2, and I'd go to the second power right here, plus 28 parentheses 2. Without a power, you don't put a power on the second one. Okay, and your second power is right here. Okay, where my thumb's at. That's It's what you can always punch when you want it to be a second power. Okay, and that's 120. That's my area, 120 square units. Okay, and then my next one. You plan to build a walkway that surrounds a rectangular garden as shown. The width of the walkway around the garden is the same on every side. The dimensions of the garden are 10 feet by 9 feet. So I have 10 and 9. Okay, now this time I've gone from start. For some reason I put the start and the stop, and then I marked the points here. Okay, so I know we have 10 in the middle, straight up, because from here to here is 10 units long. And I'm not sure here, so those are X units. And then I'm going to measure the width, start to beginning, then mark where that centerpiece starts and ends. Okay, so these are X's. And from here to here, look straight across, and it's 9. Okay, so now I'm good to go. On part A, I can set up the polynomial that represents the area. And the area of any rectangle is found by multiplying the length by the width. But the length, there are 2 x's and a 10. So I write 2x plus 10. The width has 2 x's and a 9. So 2x plus 9. Okay, now to figure out this product, we need to start with the 2x and draw rainbows. So 2x times 2x, 2x times positive 9, 10 times, and then the 2's done. And I've got 10 twice, so 10, 10. And I'm going to multiply by the same 2 factors, 2x and 9. Okay, so 1, 1. 1 and nothing, nothing and 1, and then nothing. So 2 times 2 is 4, and on x we take 1 plus 1, that's 2, 4x to the second. 2 times 9 is 18, then on x we just have to the 1. 10 times 2 is 20, then on x we just have it to the 1, and then that gives me a 90 product. Okay, so I have identical powers here. Okay, so I go blank x to the second plus blank x plus blank. So for x to the second we have 4. Then for x I add these two, and that gives me 38. And then we have 90. Okay, and that's it. Now to get part B, I'm going to put my find the combined area of the width of the walkway is 5 feet. So these x's are now 5. Okay, so I go up and parenthesize the x's, both of them, and then I empty them. So I have 4 parentheses, leave it empty to the second power, plus 38, parentheses, leave it empty, there's no power there though, plus 90. And all I do is slip 5s into where those x's used to be. Okay, so I can do the 4, and then a parentheses, and then 5, close it. Now we need the second power. Again, the second power is this key here, right next to the 7, to the left of the 7, plus 38, and then another parentheses, and then 5, but we don't need to worry about a power on that one, and then plus 90. Okay, and I got 380, so it'd be 380 square feet. Okay, that's all I have to say on that. I hope it's been informative, and you have do the one, and let me know if you have a question. It's the same thing, okay, just different numbers.